I almost forgot that today would have been Mr. Rogers' 84th birthday. I wanted to mention it earlier, but I just forgot. And then the Arthur with Mr. Rogers came on. It reminded me, so I'm gonna do it right now. Mr. Rogers was a huge part of my life for a long time. I wasn't there from the beginning because he was on a long time. But I just loved him so much. He was the closest thing to a saint we had on earth. He was exactly how he was on television. He didn't have a mean bone in his body or any meanness in him at all. And he was kind and gentle and understanding and didn't preach and didn't force people to do what they didn't want to do. He just kind of guided them the right direction with just trying to understand them and just trying to help them as much as he could. And he was a very healthy person. He died of stomach cancer at 74 years old. And I remember when he died, I was in English class in 9th grade and he was going over some stuff and I wasn't really paying attention. And then he mentioned Mr. Rogers died and it just shocked me so much. I almost started crying in class because I loved Mr. Rogers so much. He was like the mentor everybody needs in their life, and he was a great person. And yeah, he died around the same time that John Ritter passed away. And so it was just like a double hit when that happened. And then Johnny Cash, who died a few months before them as well. I wasn't a huge Johnny Cash fan, but you know, it was kind of weird that all three of them kind of went at the same time. But it was just like, I remember that time. I remember all of that. And I remember the Emmys where they paid tribute to both John Ritter and Mr. Rogers. And, cause, you know, we were both credible. But Mr. Rogers, I loved the song, just a good feeling to know you're alive. Such a happy feeling, that feeling inside that when you wake up, start a new day. Go start as happy new day. I just loved it. I loved Make Believe and the Charlie, and he did all the puppet work, and he wrote the songs, he sang them, he did producing, and he did a lot of stuff for the show. And he didn't want people on the show that were just doing the acting for themselves. He wanted them on there the people who love kids. That's who he wanted on the show. He didn't have like huge guests on the show because he didn't want them just there to promote themselves. He wanted people on there that cared about their children and wanted to give good, clean advice for children and just enjoyed it. And he could tell when they didn't and when they were there for themselves, and he didn't like that. And Mr. McFeely is named after his grandfather. By the way, his name is Fred McFeely Rogers, and McFeely was the name of his grandfather. So yeah, and he was also a minister. When he wasn't doing Mr. Rogers, he was also a minister, and because his family was in that line of work, and so he did that when he wasn't doing Mr. Rogers. And he was married to his wife for a long time, and he was just amazing. He didn't do a lot of interviews, which was impressive that the show went on that long, because now like he'd have to do press, I think, in order for it to work. But yeah, and he didn't want to do it at first because he didn't think people would watch, but obviously they did, and it worked, and he loved it. Well, there was a kid once, and he went to meet Mr. Rogers, and he had some, I don't know, remember what he had, but he was in a wheelchair, and they were trying to get Mr. Rogers to wrap it up because he needed to film, and Mr. Rogers wouldn't do it because he wanted to spend time with the kid that came to see him. And its filming got delayed that day a lot because of that. But Mr. Rogers didn't want to be a celebrity that just shook his hand and gave him an autograph and kept going. He wanted to spend time with him, and he spent time with kids that were sick, and he didn't just give him a picture or an autograph or whatever. He really took time to spend time with them and get to know him and everything. So he was a really, really good guy, and I miss him. And oh God, yeah. But he would be 84 today, and I don't know what he'd be doing right now, or if he would even still be here 84 years old. But if the cancer hadn't gotten him, I think he could have been. He was very, very healthy. He didn't drink or smoke or eat badly. He always exercised. He swam every morning before he went to film. So yeah, that's it. Right now I'm watching a movie on Netflix again. So I'm gonna go and finish it. So goodbye.